in today's society, we have to make amends. We have to make sure that we treat Americans right. And the best way we can do this is to eliminate rent and mortgages. The way I do that is I give the land back. I make indigenous people the stewards of their land that they originally took when this nation was colonized. But I give you the money back for your home and you remain in your home. When you are ready to move, you will log on to an Airbnb type app and you will move.
Okay, so let's go deeper into this land back. This is definitely one that is not going to be as popular with my audience,
Yeah,
but like I said, there are people out there who definitely agree with you on this. Um, so you, how much of the land of the United States that's currently the United States would you say was native owned land that was stolen?
all of it. All of it. And that's okay. Like we don't have to lie about it. It was all stolen. Like we know that people came on ships. They were not here. They came on ships and they are now here. The entire thing was stolen. But we're already giving land back. Like there's already a precedent for this. All I'm doing is using this as an opportunity to eliminate property tax and to give
Hmm.
Americans actual cash to make decisions with their money. We have a lot of things that we have to pay for, and America has kept people cash poor. There are so many people living off of their credit cards, paying a credit card off just to pay off. Like you're going to work to pay to go to work.
Okay, um, so you think that, so you believe that all of the land was owned by the natives, that it was stolen by the natives, and
No, no,
that
the
so
natives didn't steal it. It was owned by indigenous people and stolen by
right,
colonizers. Yeah.
sorry, colonizers stolen.
Yeah.
But although there is an argument, I mean, the indigenous people didn't sprout from the ground. You know, they didn't sprout in
I
cornfields.
mean,
Like
so
they came from somewhere too, and they probably then took the land from another group of people.
So what I would say to this is I went to public school. My job is to try to figure out how we can move America forward. The
Hmm.
oldest record I have of ownership is the people that we would be returning the land to. I think that a lot of the problems we have in Washington right now are people are caught up in a bunch of semantics. We either want to do the right thing and are going to do the right thing to start off on the right foot so nobody like these culture wars don't have to exist anymore, right?
Sure. Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of getting caught up in the semantics. I get caught up in what is the right thing to do because I think that natives stole land from one another. I think that they were in a lot. They were not peaceful people. Yeah, even despite. I mean, they were warring people, just like we're warring people. They warred with one another. There were other groups that had been on the land to try to trace it back, you know, to the very first people who ever discovered the land before, you know, from when I guess we all came from Africa at one point. You know, for it to all get traced
I
back.
mean, they've done it. So it's not even like there's something that we have to do. Like there's already an agreed upon who gets what where map. Like there's like this is the best part about having younger leadership. We have access to resources and technology because we waste a lot of money like reinventing the wheel when there's already
Right.
products out there that corporations
No, I
have
mean,
delivered for us. Like
I,
I get what you're saying. Like if you feel like if I would say to this to people, right? If what I'm talking about doesn't sound like your jam, if it's not something that you think is, oh man, I've messed this up. If it's not something that you think works for you, I'm okay with you saying, you know what? I heard this person out and I'm not interested. Unlike
right.
Democrats and Republicans, I can take a no, right? The thing that we have to hope and that we all have to understand is are there enough Americans who are suffering that don't want to take a chance and try to do something different. There are some people that believe, some people who might be more spiritual that believe part of the reason our country is in the way it is because of the way that it was started. I feel like we've tried
Yeah,
it.
I think though my issue with it is
Mhm.
that the idea, and I can appreciate the idea. I do. The idea is that this land belonged to somebody else. Colonizers came and took the land, stole the land, or you know, in a variety of very unethical, immoral ways, right? But you would have to then say that those people came from somewhere, right?
Do we? I mean, I
And
think that we could just say what we I think we are that's the best part about being Americans. No one tells us what to do or how to think. We have the ability to be like, "You know what? This is going to be where the starting point. We do it all the time. Like, we wouldn't have the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution if somebody didn't just have the audacity, the American, like, to be like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I think that
No, no, I get that. What I'm saying is that if you're saying, like to me, for example, you say, Kim, the land you're living on right now, you don't come from there. It's stolen land. So you didn't come from there. Somebody else came from there, and that's their land that was stolen.
no, but
Then I would
I'm
say,
not saying you
well,
didn't
where did
come
I
from
come
there.
from?
No, no, I'm not. Nobody's questioning where you came from. Where you came from is where you came from. What I'm saying is you bought a bad deed. Like that, that's it. It's not a reflection on you. It's not a reflection on your family. I have messed up this camera thing again. I have got to learn to stay still. Um, I'm sorry. I apologize. No, I don't think that it's a reflection on any of that. I think it's just making a wrong right. And a lot of Americans, like, no one loses out. The people who own the land, they're not moving. They're getting
Right.
money and they're getting repairs. We have a lot of people who are currently owners of houses that could use some sprucing up. That sprucing up puts contractors back to work. Good fashion contractors that don't have people who have the money to do these things. My programs are interconnected, but they all end with Americans having to go back to work, having to work with their hands. Not saying that technology is not great, but look at AI. We have to put people
Mhm.
back to work. We have to put blue collar education and make it accessible to all Americans. College is great. You get people like me with purple hair and nose piercings.
So you're saying, okay, I think I understand a little bit more. You're saying it was stolen, so you have to buy it from whoever it was stolen from originally. Somebody's got to purchase it from and make right this theft that happened
Yeah,
a long time ago. But it doesn't mean that you now no longer live there and can own that property.
correct.
And then if somebody in the future comes along and steals my property, then they would hopefully owe me money because that's what the precedent has been
I
set.
mean, so the
Um,
government could take your land right now, right? The government encroaches on people all the time. Like, this isn't,
yeah.
I'm not doing something that the government isn't already doing, except unlike the government, I'm doing it for the benefit of the American people and I'm paying the American people. If you need to think of it as theft, imagine how the indigenous people think about it.
Well, why would you do it that way? Why would you pay me? So you're saying that the house I own right now, you would pay me for why would you pay me for my house?
Because you put money into it. You need your money back.
Right, why wouldn't you just buy the land, like, just, make whole the person it was stolen from originally? Why give them the land back?
So when you do a wrong, people in America usually have an opportunity to decide how they want to be have restitution, and this is how indigenous people have said that they want restitution. I'm listening to the victim. I think that's something that we need to make more politicians do. And again, we're already doing this. We have a precedent of giving indigenous people land back today. This is already happening. I'm not doing something that the government isn't already doing today. Um,
Okay. So but they didn't build my house. So they have absolutely 0 claim to my house. They did not build my
But that's why
house.
I'm talking
So
about the land, not the it's called land back, not the house back policy.
right, but so you would just buy the land itself,
Yeah.
and then the land would be leased by the natives. Like, we have an entire city like this out here. Palm Springs is pretty much like that, where it's built a lot of Palm Springs is built on native land, on reservation, and so they own the land, and the people then they could build a house on the land, but they lease the land itself from the native reservation. They own the house, they lease the land. Mobile home parks are like this, right? You can
Ex
own the mobile
except
home,
that
but you lease the land.
except that in a Sherman administration, the citizen is not paying anything. Like, I'm giving people their money back. Like,
But
when
no,
your
you're
ancestors,
giving them money back for the land, right? But
well, I
I
just
would
want to
still then have to lease the land from the native that owns it.
No, we're not there's no lease. So one of the things that I'm doing is the land back policy is being written by indigenous tribes already. People will be able
Mhm.
to read it. It's not done yet, but before the election,
Right.
you'll have time to read it. There's an audiobook, and if you decide it's not something you will vote for, you don't vote for me. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
okay.
But I did want to clarify just like one small point. Um, we I feel like this is the best way to end houselessness. I feel like we have a high veteran population that doesn't have homes. I feel like
Mhm.
if we would just pay ourselves instead of paying other nations, we could have these things. I'm not going to make I'm not making America utopia. What I'm doing is making sure we have our basic human needs. And I'm not inventing anything that we are not currently already living under today. None of the ideas that I'm espousing are not things that are functionally happening in our government every day.